included in that exclusive content on TexasFootball.com available to subscribers,
The Jelly of the Month Club,
is the Dave Campbell's Texas Football 6-year program rankings. We've been unveiling the top 25 over the past couple of days, and we looked at all 1,195 eligible UIL Texas high school football teams. And we ranked them based on what they've done on the field. So you're talking about wins, you're talking about state championships, 10-win seasons, state title game appearances, things like that.
And eligible just means if they've been around for 6 years.
Correct.
To clarify.
When I say eligible, I mean UIL program, played 6 years of varsity
and that's
varsity ball.
Then you're in.
Correct, and then you're in. If you meet those criteria, you're in. You're ranked somewhere in our 1,195 Texas high school football teams programs that we have ranked over the course of the last 6 years. What have they done over the last 6 years? If you missed it, we unveiled the top 5 or top 10 yesterday, including the number 1 team, once again, the Aledo Bearcats, the number 1 team in our 6-year program rankings. But going through the rankings, I've gone through and I've noticed a number of other things that I want to share with you that I found. Little fun facts, little news and notes.
Add a little spice.
Add a little spice. A little spice to it. And so here's what I noticed, okay? First of all, there is very little churn. There's a little bit of churn at the top. What I mean by that is that Austin Westlake, Galena Park North Shore, and Gunner are the newest teams into the top 10. They both jumped up into the top 10, moving up a little bit to get there. If you look at the top 15, you've got 3 new members of the top 15 as well. Denton Ryan, number 13, Balmorhea, number 14, Argyle, number 15. Bremond does hold on to the top 25 spot at number 25, but the first of their 3 straight state titles, the 2014 title, cycled off, and as a result, they're losing a fair amount of ground in that regard. That's why there's that big of a change. I've got a piece up on TexasFootball.com. You can look at, we mentioned that when you win a title, you tend to move up. There's nowhere for like Aledo to go, right? Aledo can't be number 0. Okay, right. They are number 1. That's where they stayed. The one thing I do think is interesting, we mentioned this yesterday, Canadian actually dropped a little bit, which is kind of amazing because they the reason they dropped 2 spots from number 5 to number 7. So we're talking, they're still top 10, obviously. It's obviously still one of the best programs in the state. But one of the reason is they replaced a 15-0 state championship season in 2014 with a 15-1 state championship season,
which is just so crazy.
It is. It is. And so they, that's why we.
Do we know who that loss was to?
Yeah. Oh God, Iowa Park. They lost to Iowa Park.
Okay.
They lost to Iowa Park. Who's a 3A, I believe, bigger than them. They're a 4A team, I think. But yeah, they lost to Iowa Park, and as a result, so Iowa Park dropped them 2 spots basically from 5 to 7, which is a little bit interesting, I thought, because we mentioned that you've got to have played 6 years of varsity ball.
Yes.
As a result, there are some pretty notable teams that aren't on these rankings, right? If we were to include teams, if we didn't have a minimum requirement, right, and we were just ranking everyone based on their resume over the course of the last 6 years. The top teams that are not eligible for the rankings yet, okay, would be Alvin Shadow Creek.
Yes.
Corpus Christi Veterans Memorial. Midlothian Heritage, who, by the way, has only played their 5th year of varsity season.
That's crazy.
They get into the rankings next year. I believe so does Corpus Christi Vets? No, this might be year 3 for them.
Yes.
Frisco Reedy and San Antonio Harlan. Those would be the top 5 of teams that are not eligible yet, but when they are, if they were to be eligible, that would be the ranking of the ineligible.
To say, and Vets is making their path to where they can start actually making a difference in there.
So one of the things that I thought was very interesting, I always like looking at the teams that make the biggest leaps. Okay, the biggest leaps of course, in the rankings. Okay, unsurprisingly, the 2 biggest movers. The biggest mover is Jim Ned. Jim Ned vaulted 443 spots to number 137.
It's crazy what that whole winning a state championship will do.
If you win a state championship, right?
After having none before
if you win your first state championship, obviously that is a pretty nice little boost. And let me see, what are they dropping? Jim Ned is dropping. Here's why that's so stark. What is cycling off is a 1-9 season.
Yeah.
They are replacing a 1-9 season
in
with a
2015.
14-1 state championship.
Yeah.
2014 was 1-9.
Yeah.
That cycles off. Now they get the 14-1, and so they are shooting up the rankings.
You know what that makes me think of? You know what's the song where the star near like, do you know what I'm talking about?
No. You're doing great though. This is really good. I'm glad you're doing this. Keep going.
I forget that you're washed. Ugh.
Yes, I am. You're right. I'm the problem here.
Yes.
So Jim Ned,
stars.
yeah, Jim Ned was 585 last year. They're now 137. They're the biggest riser. Next up, and not to be outdone, by the way, Lindale is up 437 spots. Okay? And again, a lot of that comes down to the fact that they are replacing a pretty mediocre, a pretty bad season. The season that's cycling off for them, let me look at this. The season that's cycling off for them is a 3-7 season. Mm-hmm. They're replacing a 3-7 season with a 13-3 state finalist season. That jumps them up a big spot. Next up, New Braunfels Canyon. New Braunfels Canyon is up to, and this is one of those ones that if you have not been good in a while, just having a pretty good year is going to do wonders for them. They were I want to say they were in the thousands last year. Wow. Let me see. New Braunfels Canyon, yeah. So New Braunfels Canyon, before this season, or in last year's rankings, if you go to, I got to find, there's so many with the word canyon.
New Braunfels Canyon was probably the school I single-handedly drove by the most this year.
So New Braunfels Canyon last year was 1,135. Okay? 1,135. They are now 754. So they jumped up, they made a huge leap. They jumped up 371 spots.
Wow.
Also up 361 spots.
Yes, sir. Sting 'em, the Llano Yellow Jackets, baby.
The Llano Yellow Jackets. They're up to number 364. They are up 361 spots. Remarkable year for Matt Green and company. And then finally, rounding up the top 5 in the 6-man ranks, Fannondel is up 352 spots from number 14. We won't dwell on this too long, but if you're interested, the teams that dropped the most, Mount Calm, number 882. I believe they were really good in 2014, and they were not very good in 2020. And as a result, they are down 415 spots. Staying in the 6-man ranks, Throckmorton's down 411 spots to 615. Frisco Heritage is down 371 to number 979. Welch Dawson is down 365 spots to number 1060. And Karn City is down 350 spots to number 978. So those are the teams that are the biggest risers. The highest ranked 6A team, you might mention, is Austin Westlake right now. They're the highest ranked 6A team. They replace Allen as the top team. Number 5 in 5A, it's Aledo. Again.
Yes.
In 4A, it's Carthage again. In 3A, it's Canadian again. In 2A, it's Mart. They usurp Refugio. Basically, by getting to the title game, they've nudged ahead of Refugio. And then in 1A, it's Richland Springs, same as last year. What I find interesting, the highest ranked teams with the exact same resume, Sunnyvale and Fort Bend Ridgepoint. Okay? Sunnyvale and Fort Bend.
Pulling a rabbit out of a hat.
Right? It's weird. Sunnyvale and Fort Bend Ridgepoint are both 57 and 15.
Okay.
They're both ranked 95th. They're tied for 95th. They're both 57 and 15. Neither of them made a title game, and they've had 3 10-win seasons in their last 6 seasons.
Man.
They had the exact same resume.
That's crazy.
Last year was weird.
That was not anywhere where I was expecting you to go with that one. Like,
it's kind of weird to look at this of like teams like you never think of like, oh, you guys are the exact same.
Yeah.
Like last year was crazy because it was like, I want to say like Katie and Mason had like the exact same resume. It's crazy. If you're interested, the highest ranked team without a state championship in the last 6 years is Corpus Christi Cal Allen, number 28.
Okay, that makes sense.
The highest ranked team without a title game appearance is number 34, Geronimo Navarro. They are very interesting. They do not have a title game appearance, obviously not a state championship, but they are one of those 16 teams that has 6 10-win seasons in the last 10 years. And the highest ranked team without a 10-win season is number 316, Georgetown. Georgetown is the highest ranked team without 10-win seasons. So there's a little news and notes, little nuggets. If you're a Dave Campbell's Texas Football Insider.
I was going to say, that was like big time nerding.
Oh, yeah. If you're a Dave Campbell's Texas Football Insider, you can dig into this data right now at texasfootball.com. Look at all 1,195. Let us know on the text line, 972-532-6665, if you find any cool news and notes that I didn't realize in these rankings. But you can find those at texasfootball.com.